everybody, and welcome to Thursday's IMAG School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's me, Sarah, Director of Awesome, and this morning we are going to be doing a couple activities that are science, and then we're also going to be a little bit crafty with some of our activities. And so for the first activity, I actually really like this one. If you have seen, again with Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic, and then also Fantastic Beasts, you will notice that they send inter-office mail a little bit differently than we would. And so they have magical paper airplanes that deliver inter-office memos, and they fly by themselves. So now, of course, the one you're making is not going to fly by itself. We have to, abide by the laws of physics here instead of magic. But we are going to learn how to make a paper airplane that is a Ministry of Magic internal memo. Now, I did provide the typed up directions for this one. And so you will find a sheet that has directions. It does also have pictures, and the pictures go in order. So this one actually ends up being on 2 pages to give you the directions. I do know it's really hard to do typed up written directions for paper airplanes. It's sometimes more of a visual thing. And so that's why I included all the pictures that are on here. But I'm also going to go through this step by step with you and show you how I made my airplane and how I got, you notice the letter M, it's actually 2 parts that when they fold together, it forms the letter M. And then it also says confidential and memorandum right across the airplane here. So I'm gonna show you how to fold it so that it ends up in the correct order. And then we'll talk a little bit about some principles of flight. So you have a sheet of paper in your bag of supplies. It's like this. So on one side, it's got some writing. It's got the M's from the Ministry of Magic. It has a place for you to write your message. And then on the back side, it has the words confidential and memorandum on the bottom. And so what you want to do is take your piece of paper. I'm going to lay mine down so that the letter M's are on top, but facing away from me. And then the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper in half. And so when I fold it in half, I should now be able to see the word confidential in front of me. And then I'm going to open my paper up again and flatten it. So now I have a nice crease in the middle. So I will tell you something that helps when you're making paper airplanes is to make sure you're doing nice, neat folds so that things are even. Symmetry is very important, and some really good sharp creases as well. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold each corner in to the middle, and I'm going to hold it up as soon as I'm done and show you what it looks like. So when you're done, it will look like this. And so the words confidential and memorandum should show up now. The letter M's are at the bottom. They're still upside down. And so if I lay it down like this, that's how that should look. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your airplane and flip it over. So now you should be looking at a blank red side. You should see no writing at this point. So now what you want to do is we're going to fold the wings down to the middle line. And I'm going to hold it up again. So I'm going to hold it up after I do one. This is hard to explain. The way I like to explain this is I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to line it up with the middle. So let me do that again. So it's going to go like that. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So now it should look like this. So now when you look at it, when we're looking at this side, which we just folded, so if I open it back up, I folded these sides in. I'm going to see a little bit of writing on the bottom. When I flip it over, I can actually see the words confidential, memorandum, and those little M's again. So what you want to do now, we're going to fold our airplane closed. So now my airplane is folded closed like this, okay? Now the next step, if I lay this down, and I'm going to hold it up to show you again, is I'm going to fold so that this edge lines up with the bottom of my airplane. I'm going to show you that too. So what I did, I'm going to show you again. I folded this down so that the edge is there. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And at this point, what should happen is the words confidential and memorandum should show up there. Now, when I take my airplane and fold the wings up, the letter M now forms on the top, and we have the letter M, and we have our nice, sleek, aerodynamic shape. Now, if you look through your bag, you should also find there's a little sticker in there. It's a little olive green sticker. That's the actual official seal from the Ministry of Magic. You can actually tuck that onto your airplane, and that will keep your airplane assembled. So that's how you make your Ministry of Magic internal memo paper airplane. So yes, it's a fun project, it's super cute, but it also has science behind it too. So science and engineering, and so definitely a STEM project, and math as well, because we talked about symmetry. And so as far as the science behind it, it's the physics, it's the principles of flight. So we have this airplane, and in order for it to fly, there are different forces that act on it. So one is pushing down on it, it's pushing down on you too, that's gravity. When it flies, it's not going through empty space. It's actually going through air molecules that are creating drag and slowing it down. So the reason when you throw it that it doesn't go forever, gravity's pushing down and it's slowing down because of the air molecules and the drag. Now, going forward, that force of me throwing it or with a big jet or airplane that has engines is going to be thrust, and that's going to be pushing it forward. And then all of that combines to create lift, which is going to push your airplane underneath. Now that also has to do with something called Bernoulli's principle. So your airplane, and I did include in your directions here, if you look at the very bottom, the science behind the experiment, it talks about Newton's laws, and then it also talks about Bernoulli's principle. So Bernoulli's principle states that slow moving air has more pressure, fast moving air has less pressure. So when you look at our airplane, it has a really sleek aerodynamic shape. That's because we want really fast air on top, really slow air on the bottom. So remember, slow air, more pressure, fast air, less pressure. So there's less pressure on top, more pressure underneath. It's literally pushing your airplane up, which is that lift that it's giving it. And that's going to keep it going again. So we said Newton's 3 laws too. First law of inertia. An object at rest will stay at rest. An object in motion will stay in motion unless a force acts upon it. So what that means is this is not going to fly by itself. It's not going to suddenly take off for no reason. We have to apply a force. So this is the law of inertia. Inertia, the way I like to describe it is, you ever been on a skateboard and you hit a curb and you went flying, skateboard stopped and you went flying. That's because the skateboard stopped, but nobody stopped your body. Same way in a car, mom or dad puts the brakes on really fast and your seatbelt grabs you. That's because your mom or dad hit the brakes on the car, nobody stopped your body, so that's why you have a seatbelt to stop you. So with this airplane, we have to apply a force to make it move. Now, an object in motion will stay in motion. It doesn't keep flying forever because gravity and drag are slowing it down. Second law says force equals mass times acceleration. F equals m times a. So I have to apply a force. Depending on the mass of the object is going to determine how much force I need to apply to make it move. This does not have a lot of mass. It's not really heavy. I don't need to apply a lot of force to make it move. Acceleration. However, if I apply more force, it's going to go further and faster. If I apply less force, it's not going to go as far or as fast. So second law, force equals mass times acceleration. Then we have our third law, which is for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I pull back, release, go forward. All right, so again, like with rockets, when you see a rocket go off, all that fire and everything coming out of the bottom, pushing down, pushing the rocket up. All right, so your 3 laws for Newton. So again, fun activity, looks really cute. I like it a lot. Sorry for the movie, but again, there is definitely science behind it, our laws of physics. There's also engineering, because you are building this and you are problem solving on how to build this and make it aerodynamic. Math, again, we were talking about symmetry, the different folds that we have to do on this. So for that as well, it's also the concept of taking something that was 2-dimensional, which is a sheet of paper, and making it 3-dimensional into your paper airplane. So again, that's going to be your Ministry of Magic paper airplane. Now the next activity that you have is you're going to be making Skele-Gro slime. So if you again have seen the Harry Potter movies, you will know at one point Harry breaks his arm or injures his arm in one of the Quidditch matches, and one of the professors tries to fix his arm, and it's all like kind of like Jello. He basically removes his bones accidentally from his arm, and so they have to give him Skele-Gro to make his bones regrow. And so this is just a silly name that we gave our slime activity. So you want to look for the bag that says Thursday activity number 2, and inside there's going to be white glue, there's going to be borax, and there's also a little container of glitter. Now, be careful with your glitter. You don't want to make a mess with that. I will tell you, you may want to get a spoon, or I'm just going to use popsicle sticks for this. If you have any leftover portion cups from any of your other activities, you may want to grab a couple empty portion cups, or you can also grab a cup, just so you have some extra containers for this activity. So when I make slime, what I like to do is a couple things. We're going to take our supplies out of the bags, and hopefully nothing's spilled, but that's why that Ziploc bag is there. And what I'm going to do is, you have a full container of borax. This is way too much borax for this activity. So what that means is you will have leftover borax. If you want to make more slime on your own, you can. You should have glue in your kits. If you end up with extra glue, you can use that. Or if you have glue at home, you can use that. So hang on to your borax, because you can actually make more slime with this. So what we're going to do is, I have taken a portion cup, and I filled it kind of a little over halfway full with water, and I'm going to put some borax in. You literally only need to add a tiny bit of your borax. That's why I was saying this is way more borax than you actually need, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take my popsicle stick. I already made a mess. And I'm going to go ahead and stir that up. You want to mix it up and give it a chance. You're making a borax solution. So remember, solution, it's when we're dissolving something in our water. And so I'm going to stir that up, make my borax solution. Now, I also, when I do my activities with slime, I actually like to thin my glue down. And so you have about a half portion cup of glue. And so I also have a half portion cup of water. So I'm going to go ahead and add some water to my glue, because I like to thin down my glue in this experiment. And so I'm going to stir that up with my popsicle stick very gently, because now my container is pretty full and I don't want it to fall all over the table. Now, since we're making Skelebro slime, which is for bones, I'm going to leave my slime white. However, you should have food coloring. I don't remember if you got it with this kit. You definitely got it with your Don't Try This at Home kit. So if you want your slime to be a different color, that's up to you. My recommendation is, if you want to dye your slime, I don't think I have any food coloring on my table I can show you. If you want to dye your slime, you should dye the glue now. So if you're going to have your slime be a different color, now would be the time that you would add the food coloring to your glue mixture. So again, I have kind of thinned that out. Now the glitter is optional. I just happen to like glitter. And so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some glitter in. Again, you don't need all the glitter that's in there. So it depends on how sparkly you want your slime to be, or if you don't want it to be sparkly at all, that's okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and mix this up again. Now, this experiment, a couple things are happening. Again, we just talked about the term solution. You can also talk about physical and chemical changes that are happening in here. So right now, with me mixing in my glitter, and if you're dyeing your slime, it's a physical change. You're changing the way something looks. I haven't made something new. We have mixed in our water and our glue, and we've made our solution over here. Once I pour my glue mixture into my borax and make my slime, I've made something new. I've done my chemical change here. You're also working with polymers. So slime is a polymer, so it's got that really cool stretchiness to it. And so on your sheet that I gave you, there's a whole bunch of information at the bottom that you are welcome to go through and review, which again has information about chemistry, and then also about what happens with the borax, why does it turn into slime, and there's also information in there on polymers. And so it talks about what happens and how it becomes a polymer when you are using the borax with it. Also, most glues also are made with polyvinyl alcohol, which we actually make a lot of slime here just with straight polyvinyl alcohol. But I just decided for this experiment we do it with white glue. Sometimes we do our slime with clear glue, white glue, PVA, polyvinyl alcohol. So there's different ways. For this slime, we're using borax. There's other slimes where people will use liquid starch. And then a lot of people also use contact solution. So the funny part about the contact solution is because a lot of people got worried about borax being harmful. So if you read the ingredients on the contact solution that actually works for the slime, it has borate in it, sodium borate. That's borax. So it's the same ingredient, it's just actually in contact solution as well. Borax is just the brand name on this one. So just make sure you're not ingesting anything and you'll be okay. So we're gonna go ahead and take our glue mixture and I've got my borax solution. I had the cup just because if I thought this was going to be too big, I was going to switch it over into my cup. But I'm going to go ahead and just make a small batch in here since I know you have your portion cup. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my glue slowly into my solution. It looks really cool when you pour it in because it instantly starts to react with that borax, and you see like these weird little like noodle shapes forming. And so I'm going to go ahead and take my popsicle stick, because at first it's going to be pretty sticky and gross. So look, we've already got our slime forming. So if you don't want your hands super messy at first, go ahead and stir that up. Again, I'm already making a mess and getting it on the table. Once you've got a nice glob going, you can actually pick it up. So here's my slime. So I've already made mine. This is my Skele-Gro slime, nice and stretchy and gross. So that's my slime so far. Again, nice thing is, if you have extra portion cup containers, you can use that to hold your slime. Now the cool part is the borax solution will still work, so I can go ahead and pour the rest of my slime mixture in there. If I poured in all at once, it was probably going to overflow out of the container because it wasn't big enough. So it's okay if you pour this in and do it in 2 smaller batches. It'll still work. So I'm using my popsicle stick to just scrape out the rest of that glue. And then I am stirring inside the cup. And again, even with me doing it in 2 batches, I'm definitely sloshing and getting on the table. So make sure you have some paper towels. Make sure you're working on a surface that it's okay to get messy on. But I'm going to go ahead and keep stirring, making my slime. And then I'm going to go ahead and start trying to pick this up. And again, it might be sticky at first. Woo. I've got like a big glue bubble in there. I'm trying to pop it. There we go. And so now I've got the second part to my Skele-Gro slime here. So I've got my nice gooey, stretchy slime. And I drop some on the table. And I'm going to go ahead and add it to the slime that I already made and combine it into one big batch of slime. And so now I've got some awesome gooey, stretchy Skele-Gro slime that we've made in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this inside. Again, definitely when you're doing these experiments, if you can keep some of your portion containers, rinse them out, keep them. That way, if you are making slime or anything like that, you'll have extra containers to put everything in when you're done. And again, look how much borax I have left. I still have like pretty much a full container of borax. So, wipe my hands off. All right, so for our final activity, I'm gonna move this to the side. I've made a big mess on my table. All right, for your last activity, it's just a craft activity just to have fun today. So again, if you've watched Harry Potter, you know that all of the wizards and witches, they do learn how to fly on a broom. And I guess it's very important for also playing Quidditch. And there's some popular brands of brooms. First, there was the Nimbus 2000, and then there was a Firebolt. So there's different kinds of brooms. So basically, we just gave you some supplies so that you can make your own broom. So this is more of a prop. Like I'm gonna put mine on my table. I'm gonna put it over here today. I'm gonna put my broom on my table over here. So you should have gotten in your kit a dowel rod. There should be some newspaper, and inside, some lunch bags. Now for this activity, I went ahead and grabbed, you should have electrical tape. You have clear tape, you also have electrical tape. It may be in your Don't Try This at Home kit, or if you check your Tech Garage kit, I know you have electrical tape in there. You should have a whole roll of electrical tape. It just is easier for this activity. You can still use clear tape if you have to, or if you have masking tape around the house, you can do that too. If you want to paint your broom handle, you can. So you should still have plenty of brown paint left. You did 2 other activities where you had brown paint. You painted your chocolate frog with brown paint, and you also had brown paint for your wand. So if you want to paint your broom handle, you can, because again, you should have some brown paint left, or you can just leave it the way it is. The way that I made my broom, now here's the thing with this activity. There's not really a right or wrong way to do this. It's up to you. So you can also think of this, it's an art activity, it's also an engineering activity. You are making a broom out of the supplies provided. There is no right or wrong answer for this for sure, but you just have to figure out which way works the best. So I'm just gonna take some newspaper, crumble it up, put it in the bag. I did 2 pieces. So again, you have plenty of newspaper. I'm gonna put this in here, and then I'm gonna take my dowel rod, And kind of push that down in there. And I'm going to kind of squish it up like so. Now at this point, this is where I'm going to use my tape. And I'm going to unroll a good amount of my electrical tape. And again, clear tape, masking tape. And I'm going to take it and I'm wrapping it around my broom. I'm going to hold it so you can see. So I'm doing this just to secure it, like so. Now, I wanted to give it more of that bristly broom feeling. So I took my scissors and I went around and I cut the bag. I cut the bag into strips up to almost the electrical tape. Just little sections. Just be careful you don't cut them off. And so I cut it up, up, up. Okay. So now I have that kind of that bristly effect up here, but I also want that on the bottom. So to do that, I took this bag. So again, really new. All right, so for this one, I took this bag and I cut it right above where the bottom of the bag is. And so now I have a piece of paper. And then all I did was cut it. So now I have one long piece. And then I just took my scissors and I cut up, not all the way though. I left about 2 inches at the top where I did not cut so that it all stays in one piece. Again, this is not, there's no right or wrong way. If you want to do it differently, you can. Like I said, I think this is a fun engineering activity. Figure out how to make a broom with the supplies you are given. Plus, if you want, you can look through your supplies, and if you have other supplies that you think you can use on this activity, you should add them. So I know you had beads from your Patronus necklace, you have glitter left over from your slime, you have paint, you have markers, you have all kinds of stuff. So if you want to change how this looks, you can. So now I've got this page, got this fringe, and so I'm going to get some more electrical tape. I'm going to take that off. Get a good amount of tape again. And I'm just going to hook my tape on the table just for a second, just so I have some free hands. So I'm going to take my bristle piece and I am just wrapping it around my broom, going around and around. So now I've got all my broom bristles sticking out, and then I'm going to take that tape and I'm going to wrap it around again. And so this will actually secure it in place on the broom. And then it kind of looks like that connector that's on actual broom. So I'm going to wind this around. All right. And then now I have my broom. So again, for you guys, we're tipping over. So I've got 2 brooms. I'm going to set them both here. My second broom's not one. There we go. All right. So again, just a fun craft, art, engineering activity for you guys to do. Now, what's going to be happening next is we are going to do our morning science show this morning at 11. So I will be putting together some supplies for doing a science show. So be sure to tune it in. It'll also be recorded so you can actually watch it this afternoon if you don't catch it then, but it will be at 11 o'clock. And then this afternoon, you are going to be doing some more charms with your teacher. You'll be doing Ingorgio and Reducio, a Colovario charm, and then you're also doing some defense against the dark arts as well. And actually during our science show, I'm going to go ahead and add in some of those magical creatures. So you will have a chance to watch a video of some of our creatures. And then tomorrow, you're with me. And so we will do a couple of our last charms. We'll be doing a butterbeer Mentos fountain. I will be doing some nitrogen experiments, and I'm going to show you how to make some mandrake cakes, and you'll take your OWLs, your owls. And so thank you guys for tuning in, and then I will see you tomorrow.